So Josh was talking about basically looking at the other sites that are ahead of him and wanting to know basically if links were the issue or trying to figure out why they were beating him or whatever. And so he asked, when I look at other sites' link profiles, it's both links to the entire site and to the interpage URL. Like, so basically RD of the entire domain and RD of the interpage. And then he follows it up and he says, because I've looked at backlinks that way, and right now we are beating sites with 1K in niche backlinks. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this over here. Let's get it. So I went ahead and I went back to the Denver SEO kind of example we were looking at before, and I just pulled up the top site. So it's this nuclearnetworking.com. So I pulled it up, and yeah, I mean, you want to, when I'm judging how powerful the domain is, I'm looking at the referring domains at the domain level. But then I also kind of I look at the inner page as well, or whatever page is ranking. So this one is actually ranking the home page. Here, so this one's actually has an inner page. So we could pull this one up in, let's just do the home page first. So you can see the domain has a total of 1.12K referring domains, and then the inner page has about 74. So those are, those are both kind of things that you're going to want to look to just get a quick judge of how exactly they're achieving their rankings. But it doesn't necessarily mean that, okay, I need 74 inner page links to beat this inner page. It doesn't really work like that. You have to take into conjunction, the power of their overall domain, which would be the referring domain count of the entire domain, which we looked at before, 1.12K. And yeah, I guess in general, I'm more so looking at domain level rather than the inner page amount.
For this too, though, it'd be worthwhile to look at DR and UR. UR is going to represent the power of the inner pages to that domain. So if you go to that inner page, you'll actually see that the UR for that inner page is fairly high in comparison to the overall asset.
32.
Yeah. And then that the DR is high overall, So those are metrics that you can look at in comparison to your asset and kind of gauge where you stand next to them. When you're looking at referring domains, 74 to this inner page is pretty interesting. It's going to be really targeted because Denver SEO probably doesn't have a lot of long tails that branch off of it. And so organic keyword seems relatively low in comparison to having 74 links to that inner page. Sometimes what you're going to notice is as you're doing competition analysis in a SERP, that there's going to be a slight variance between like one or two domains that aren't quite up to par with the other domains that rank on page one for that particular SERP. And you would look at those as entry points. So where do they stand? I feel as though I can beat them out given their overall DR, which is a reflection of the referring domains and the quality of those referring domains pointed back at that particular asset. And then you'll look at the inner page and you'll kind of gauge it based off of that.
But yeah, it's all, it's all funny money. Like these, at the end of the day, DR and UR don't mean anything, and they can be spoofed by,
Yeah, DR and UR not so much in comparison to like DA, right? DAPA. But what we can
just
do
started working on one that, it was one of the sites we looked at last week. The guy had like 100 referring domains. Actually, I guess in that case it was working because his domains were really crappy and his DR was super low.
Yeah, low, right?
So yeah, I guess it worked.
But either way, you're right. You don't want to focus just on metrics. I'm just saying, that'd be worthwhile to look at if you're just like running through competitors real quick. But you can also click on backlinks and then actually run through. So not all backlinks are created equal, right? And so you can also get an idea of how hard they'll be to beat via what they've got going on. And I'm willing to bet a good amount of these are PBNs. So let's see. Let's open
They've got
up.
a lot of PBNs.
Or they've got, So they've got Denver SEO, so they're using footer links. So it could actually be clients. You'll see that a lot too. But the fact that SEO design, no. Yeah, maybe not PBNs, actual client sites more likely.
This one kind of looks like
so,
PBN.
They can use that to their benefit. That's going to give them, quite a lot of homepage juice coming from these to that specific inner page. So they're going to be fairly hard to beat out.
What you can also do is come up here and you can export their entire backlink list to an Excel file, and then sort the Excel file by DR and get a gauge of like how many links they have over above like DR like 50 or whatever, right? And then, but it's not just that easy. You still want to actually look at them because they could be a bunch of like links over DR 50 that are like social profiles or like...
right, if you see a bunch of Web 2.0s or directories and stuff, and there's like 200 of them, but no authority links, because right now we're looking at authority links. You can tell by how much traffic and keywords they rank for as well. All of these are healthy sites, right? So even if they were PBNs, they'd be PBNs that are seen as valuable in the eyes of Google.
So like here we sorted it by DR, and now we're just seeing like a bunch of like press releases. And like we said, press releases are good. We like press releases, but at the same time, these are all like no follow, and they're not generally something that you would consider like a mega like authority link, right?
Yeah, they're for
and see, then you see a bunch of these are what we would consider pillow links. We've got like directory type stuff up here. So yeah, you still have to kind of sort through and determine like out of their let's say 100 links they have that are above DR 50, how many of those are actual like authority, what you'd consider an authority link and not a pillow link. But yeah, like most of the ones that we're seeing right here over 50 so far are have been kind of like not stuff that we would consider a good link. They're all just like natural pillow links.
Yeah, if you saw something like that and no authority, then you would consider it an easy target to beat out.
So like this looks like a normal one. This looks like a guest post, whatever, topseos.com. But it's one of the first ones we've kind of seen in here. That is not like a directory type link. Anyway, those are just what you can look at. As far as going back to your question goes, I more so pay attention to domain or referring domains at the domain level, but I do look at how powerful the inner page is too. But you kind of have to take those two things in conjunction rather than viewing them separately. And then you have to compare it, your site to it, and just kind of realize that especially if you know how to build links and you're doing it smartly, you can often beat them with a good amount less links as well. So, but it'll just give you kind of a gauge of what kind of competition you're looking at.
The more you dive in, the more you just look at all that data, the more you're going to kind of get a picture of what recipe is going to help you out whenever you're doing competition research. But yeah, I would agree with Chris overall. Probably look at the overall value of the actual URL or the top level domain.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the description below for links to our blog for more info on this topic, along with a bunch of other cool stuff like case studies, our Facebook community, and our link building services. And like always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed the video. Thanks and happy ranking.